Welcome. We are on the campus of Eastern Oregon University, where tonight the #1 seeded Mountaineers will take on the #5 seeded Oregon Tech Lady Owls in the Cascade Conference Women's Basketball Championships presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Rob Cashel, Cascade Conference Commissioner, and I'm joined right now by Angie Weisenfluh, head coach of the Mountaineers. Angie, thanks for joining us today, and first of all, congratulations on the season so far.
Thanks, we appreciate it. It's nice to be here.
Angie, the 14-15 championship season marks the third in a row for your team. Tell us a little bit about this year's program, and can you compare a little bit to the last two seasons?
Well, I think first, I think we're able to have a little bit of success this year because of those prior seasons. We've had a lot of players like Nikki Osborne and Maddie Lawn and some of the Mallory Moss that have been a part of 2, if not 3 championships. So having the experience has been really vital and played a key role in our success. Differences, each team's unique, each team's unique, and we've lost a lot. In the last 3 years, we've lost a tremendous amount of what we call our firepower. So it's been a little different. Last year we had the Player of the Year with Brittany Newcomb, and then our all-conference Nicole Red was a 4-year player, and we had to replace them. And this year we got a couple transfers. Shea Rogers stepped in, and we had 2 vital players in our program that redshirted due to injuries the year before that was able to step foot on the court for us and play pivotal roles for us, and that's Maya Ayu and Jordan Cleveland. I think the difference this year is probably this is more like our teams in the past, as in a lot of people can do a lot of different things. We've got good depth, we've got great outstanding shooting when we're healthy, we've got an inside-out game, just our versatility and our depth and our teamwork.
Well, you mentioned 2 players, Jordan Cleveland and Maya Ayu. You faced some adversity down the stretch here with those 2 going out with injuries. And can you talk a little bit about the impact that has had on your team and who stepped up in their place and really contributed?
Yeah, I mean, it has. When we lost Jordan about 3 weeks ago, heading into our last 4 conference, she, I feel bad for her, just because you never want to lose a kid, but she had already set out last year due to an injury, and she was playing really well. Shooting the ball, playing with a tremendous amount of energy, just was very key in what we were doing offensively and defensively. So, at that time, we had to take a deep breath. Other people stepped up. Maya, to be honest with you, yes, she had been consistent all year, but she took her game to another level, I thought, the last 4 games or so in the season. And then, our bench personnel. We've known they've been capable all along, and they've prepared and practiced hard, and Larissa and Jasmine and some of those names, Morgan Freeman, they've all kind of stepped up and filled that void. I think Maddie Lawn, she had been averaging around 10 points to 12, and I think our last few games she's been over 15, 18, somewhere around. So I think everyone, it hasn't been one person, I think collectively they've kind of stepped up and thought, we're going to have to make up for some of those points or defense or rebounds, because that's a lot of 3-point shooting, a lot of 3 balls that we don't have in our lineup right now.
You mentioned Maddie. We're going to talk to her in just a bit, but the first 2 playoff games, quarterfinals and the semifinals, 18 points in each game. So, as you said, really stepped up the offensive productivity.
She has, and it's been an energy. Yes, it's produced some offense, and you see it in the stats, but also it's just her mentality. She's gotten real tough mentally, and defensively, she's stepped it up, and I just think she's playing with a different energy level than maybe she had been prior, because she knows we need it. And at this time of year, if you don't win, you go home. Yes, we have the automatic bid, but you don't want to sit and idle for a couple weeks. You want to be playing basketball, and so they've been fighting hard. I've been proud of them.
Now, your opponent tonight, Oregon Tech, really been the road warriors of the tournament. They go on the road, they defeat #4 Evergreen, and then a huge win in the semifinals on the road against really they're probably their biggest rival, Southern Oregon, and the #2 seed in the tournament. So what do you expect tonight from the Owls?
Well, Scott does a phenomenal job. He does an outstanding job preparing his team, coaching them, and making adjustments. You know, we've played him 2 times previous, and as a coach, you can't rest on that because Scott, he'll have a completely different game plan coming into tonight, and if it's a box and one, a 1-3-1, he's not afraid to coach outside the box and make adjustments. And they're playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. They always play extremely fundamental, extremely hard, but then you add some confidence and you get on a roll, they'll be ready. We're going to have to step up our game. We're going to have to match their intensity, match their hustle, and it's going to come down to who can defend better tonight. You know, in a championship game, you'd love to have your offense, and I'm sure he would too, but a lot of times it comes down to rebounding and defense, and that's what I expect. But he's done a phenomenal job. They keep fighting. They've got some quality kids on the team.
Well, you mentioned defense, and both OIT and your team, 2 of the better defensive teams in the conference. So now, Angie, we talked about the automatic bid already being secured by Eastern by virtue of the regular season championship. You've been to the tournament many times. How do you prepare your team, and how do you prepare them for the format, which is very different? You could have a late at night game, early morning game, only a 10-minute warm-up in between games. How do you prepare?
I do think that's where our experience will come in, having kids that have been there 2 and 3 years consecutively. That will help because with a short warm-up, and you have to split your warm-up, and so it's a little harder. I think it's about going in, yes, being confident, having them ready, but also playing relaxed. You know, maybe pull from our experience and being back there and being able to do things, not be uptight. You know, we belong back there. All of our teams, if OIT, Southern, and all 3 of us get in, all 3 of us can compete back there. And I think we've proven that. Not only Eastern, but other conference opponents have proven over the years. And the tricky part is the next week of practice. Where do you go after tonight to make sure that you're not wearing down your kids, but you're also prepared for the long travel and having your legs under you and being able to play hard. So we'll revamp our practice format, take a day off or maybe even 2, and then start up with a full week, just like if it was a game coming up on a Friday or Saturday. But we'll go back and look at prior practice plans and making sure that we have done what has been successful for us in the past.
Well, in your team, you've taken advantage of really all the common circumstances of the tournament, the banquet, the opportunity to work with the Champions of Character program. So again, that alters your normal game day routine.
It does. I think those things are really important, though. When you get an opportunity to take part in a Special Olympics or a school visit, you don't want, yes, it's about competing for a national championship. You're going back there and you're one of 32 teams that have an opportunity to fight for a national championship. But you also want to give your student athletes as well as your coaching staff a complete experience. That's part of the learning opportunity that we provide at the collegiate level. So I think it's important. Again, you just, you know, you take it serious, you prepare, you fight, but you also realize these are 18 to 21 or 22-year-olds, and let them enjoy it. And I want to enjoy it with them. This is what you fight all year, and you work. I keep telling my team, it's not fun to compete in October and be a basketball player, but the fun part comes in March if you put the work in. And so I want them to have fun, and we'll be ready.
Now, Angie, you played here, you were an assistant coach here, and the head coach here for 15, 16 years, and we talked last week about that family atmosphere that you foster. I'm guessing you've heard from a lot of alums already this week, and a lot of encouragement and congratulations.
I have.
Talk a little bit about that fostering of really that family atmosphere.
You know, it all starts in the recruiting process. I think, you know, you recruit the right kind of kids and the right kind of families. And then, you know, in our program, you know, no one's bigger than the other. It doesn't matter if you're an all-conference, an all-American, or if you're our 15th man. We all have an important role to play on our team. And, you know, sometimes that, you know, it's a season and you gotta define it and you gotta fight, and it doesn't always feel good, but by the end, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of us. Very unselfish players, very unselfish, humble players that are willing to sacrifice for whatever it takes. And then it plays a key role and a pivotal role once they graduate, them staying connected. You know, when we win, as well as we lose, my phone, the texts are coming, you know, what happened tonight, coach, or whatever. And they feel like they know what they're doing. When we go to practice, there's so much routine in everything we do, from our preseason schedules to who we play to our commitment weekends. The players, after they graduate, they can sit around and they know exactly what we're doing on game day. They know what that player is going through in October when we're out on the track running our time miles or in the weight room. And I just think building that tradition is key. And yeah, our alums are excited. You know, they're watching tonight, and sometimes, you know, they put a little extra pressure on coach, but you know, I'm used to it, and that's what I kind of enjoy, is staying connected with everyone, regardless if they're current or past.
Again here at Quinn Coliseum, Mountaineers, #1 seed, taking on #5 Oregon Tech. Angie, thank you for taking time and joining us, and best of luck tonight and next week at the national tournament.
Thanks.
We will be right back with Nikki Osborne and Maddie Lawn, who will be joining us from the Mountaineer basketball team after these messages. Welcome back to the Cascade Conference Women's Basketball Championship pregame show presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Commissioner Rob Cashel, and I'm joined right now by EOU Mountaineer basketball players Nikki Osborne and Maddie Lawn. Welcome, ladies. Nikki, I'm going to start with you. First of all, you've been in the EOU program now for the past 3 seasons, championship seasons. Tell me some of the similarities between those 3 teams and some of the differences.
Differences, there's a variety of scorers, I guess you can say. And then the similarities is energy, like having friendships on and off the court, and just having fun.
Great. Maddie, Oregon Tech is one of the better defensive teams in the league, holding teams to 57.6 points per game. What do you expect from the Owls tonight defensively?
Defensively, they're going to bring their game, obviously, championship game, but I think we have the key players, and Coach does a good job with working with the offense, what we should run, what we shouldn't run, and we all have a good idea of what we're going to bring into the game.
Thank you very much. Nikki, you 2 years ago, you suffered a knee injury, and you know, I know this year some of your teammates, you guys are struggling with some injuries. As one of the team leaders, what have you told your teammates about coming back from those injuries, and what have you told some of your other teammates as you struggle through kind of the end of the season dealing with injuries?
Just to keep their head up for those who have suffered injuries. Like, it's hard to go through, it's rough, and sometimes healing isn't the quickest thing, and so they just need to keep their head up, and then telling the other teammates to be there for them and just help them keep their heads up.
And what was your injury 2 years ago?
I tore my ACL.
And how long was the rehab?
I think it was 6 or 7 months.
Came back strong. Congratulations. Maddie, the Mountaineer faithful have a strong history of coming out to Quinn Coliseum and creating a great game day environment. And tell me what it's like to play in front of your home crowd and in Quinn.
I think it's huge to have a big crowd. It really helps when we play our games, and it's huge to have support from the community, not only the students, but the community. So I think that has a huge part of why we have a winning record.
Expecting a big crowd tonight?
Hopefully.
Now, in addition to basketball, you both are outstanding students. Why don't you tell us what your degree program is and when your graduation date will be?
I'm a business major, and I'm graduating this June.
I'm an elementary ed major, and I will be graduating next year.
Next year. Nikki, what's in store for you after graduation?
I'll do the master's in business.
Great. You have one more season left. Congratulations. Nikki, you'll find out Wednesday who you guys play in the national tournament as a result of EOU already achieving the first automatic qualifier. Tell us a little bit about how you guys will prepare for who you go against and who you find out on Wednesday?
Our coaches do a really great job of scouting reports and scouting the team, what they run, their defense, offense, and player tendencies and stuff like that. So they prepare us very well. And it's up to us to listen and pay attention to what they're saying to us.
So will there be a viewing party on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
Who you play?
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Maddie and Nikki, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck tonight in your championship game against Oregon Tech, and congratulations on the season.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back when we will be joined by Oregon Tech head coach Scott Meredith and two of the Lady Owl players. Welcome back to the program. This is Rob Cashel, Cascade Conference Commissioner, joined by Scott Meredith, head coach of the Oregon Tech Lady Owls. Scott, welcome and congratulations so far on the season.
Thank you.
You know, this has been a polar opposite of last year, where you were hosting all 3 rounds of the tournament last year. Now you're on the road. You go up to Evergreen, defeat number 4 seed, and then a huge win at Southern, the number 2 seed. And now on the road against number 1. How have you approached that with your team, and how are you getting ready for all this road travel?
Well, they've been easy to get ready for games. They're very motivated. We've got tremendous senior leadership, and honestly, it's a little bit easier to play on the road. A little more pressure playing in front of the home fans, even though they're so supportive and they turn out in masses at Klamath Falls and Danny Lyles Court. When we go on the road, we kind of feel like it's us against everyone else, and so we're kind of using that as a motivating factor.
Well, and you're used to the crowd here in Quinn, just like at Klamath Falls, Oregon, Eastern Oregon generally has a great home crowd. Talk a little bit about playing in front of the Eastern crowd in Quinn Coliseum.
Sure. As a former athlete and as a coach, I've always enjoyed going into a kind of a semi-hostile environment. I think it's something that you have to embrace because it's going to be there. And if you don't embrace it, then you're fighting it and fighting the noise and all. So I think it's just a really exciting atmosphere in college basketball to go to an opposing venue and have the fans yelling and screaming at you. I think that's kind of a sign of respect. And I think it just adds to the flavor of the moment. Hopefully our girls will embrace that and use it to create positive energy for ourselves.
Well, and tonight you're taking on the regular season champions, Eastern Oregon. They finished at 16-2, and the 2 times you met this year, Eastern came out on top. So how do you prepare for this 3rd time, and what are you going to do differently, if anything?
Yeah, well, congratulations to Angie and her team. They have really played well throughout the year, and they're exceptionally well coached. They've got a deep roster, tremendous size, and for us, we just have to learn from our mistakes the first couple of games. You know, even though the final scores weren't all that close, we made some good runs during those games. We're actually ahead by 6 or 8 the first time at Klamath Falls. And the second game here in Quinn, we made a really good run at the end of the game. And so try to take what we can from those losses. You know, like I said, learn from our mistakes, make a few adjustments. But, you know, we like the up-tempo game. Hopefully that can counter Eastern's size advantage. And, you know, we've been playing, I think, our best basketball down the stretch here. And I think that's what all basketball coaches want. And so for me, that's been very rewarding to see our ladies playing with such confidence.
That's great. You know, we were talking earlier about your big win at Southern. Talk a little bit about that game and being on the road at really probably your biggest rival in the conference, Southern Oregon and Oregon Tech. And talk a little bit about how the women responded to that.
Yeah, just a tremendous rivalry between Southern Oregon and Oregon Tech. It means a lot no matter what. And in my experience in those games, you can throw out previous results out the window. After what happened on what we're calling kind of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where the game was really over at halftime, coming into the 3rd game, once again, we tried to learn from our mistakes. We felt that we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with 21 turnovers, and we really didn't give ourselves a chance to compete. And so, you know, we looked at what we tried to do offensively and made some adjustments, and then it was really the girls really believing in themselves and kind of springboarding off the wins over Concordia, Warner Pack, and Evergreen. And we felt like we'd been playing good basketball, but knowing that Southern was ranked number 8 in the country, I'm not sure really anybody outside the program really truly believed we could get it done, but my girls did. And, you know, the way that they competed and just hung in there, even with, you know, 2 big deficits, one in the first half and one in the second half, we came from behind. And, you know, fortunately, they're not paying attention to the scoreboard. They're just playing basketball, and our defense has been consistent. We've been shooting the 3-ball and free throws really well down the stretch, and that's helped out.
You alluded to that stretch kind of down the tail end of the season where you lost, I think, 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Talk about how you kept the spirits up and kind of kept grinding at that point in the season.
Yeah, well, you know, this team is really unique that they're so united. They really enjoy each other. We've had no drama whatsoever with this group that's here today. And they're fun to be with. They enjoy practices. And we shortened practice time a little bit. And, you know, there is some repetition to it, but I think the girls genuinely enjoy playing the game. And they're playing for the seniors right now, our 3 seniors. And we've got tremendous leadership. During that stretch, it was tough. And we kept on watching film, going back to the drawing board, and really believed that, you know, we could finish strong. But at that point of the season, you can't look in the rearview mirror. You've got to look at what's next. And we keep on saying we're only as good as our next game. And what happened last night is immaterial. And so the girls found a way to build their confidence and just kind of hang in there. And I think that just shows a tremendous amount of character.
Well, that next game is obviously tonight. We talked about the change in the automatic qualifier. And previous years, just by getting to this game, you would have earned the second AQ to the national tournament. Tonight, a lot more riding because you need to really win tonight to get that second AQ.
We do, and that's a tremendous carrot dangled out in front of the team. I think it's the way it should be. I think the thought before was, you know, that you get the teams in the tournament that are in first and second place, the teams that are hottest at the end of the year, and send them to the national tournament. But just because you win a first round game and a second round game and make it to the championship game, win or lose, doesn't mean you're one of the hottest teams. I really think the emphasis should be on the 18-game season that wins more. And even though that hurt us where we're at this year, I really believe as a 5th place team in conference, we have to win the tournament to go. And that's truly earning it on the road, on the road, on the road. And so I'm just really excited for the opportunity. It's a tremendous honor to be back here defending our tournament crown from last year. And our girls are really believing and excited about the opportunity to compete tonight.
Yeah, last year, obviously at your home court, it was a great environment and really a wonderful championship game. This year, you have a tremendous balance in your scoring. You have 5 players that range from an average of just under 9 points to 12 points. You know, what do you attribute that balance to, and how have you gotten the girls to buy in?
Well, they just really believe in the team concept. And every player on this team, with the exception of one, has come in as a high school senior and, you know, worked their way through the program. So they feel that the program's theirs, and they have long-lasting relationships with each other. And so, you know, we don't care how we get it done. We just want to get it done. And at the end of the day, if we're winning games and championships, there's enough pats on the back for everybody. Assistant coaches, role players, it doesn't matter. That's just the nature, I think, of an Oregon Tech player.
That's great. Well, we are going to be joined by 2 Oregon Tech players here in just a moment, Tess Armstrong and Carrie Tebow. And Scott, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck tonight. And if you make it to the national tournament, good luck at the NAIA Championships.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Cascade Collegiate Conference Women's Basketball pregame show presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Commissioner Rob Cashel, and I am joined now by Tess Armstrong and Carrie Tebow, players on the Oregon Tech Lady Owl program. Ladies, thank you for joining me before the big game tonight. Carrie, I'll start with you as a senior. What's it mean to you to get back to this championship game a year after winning it on your home court?
Oh, it's awesome. It would be nice to repeat, but we want to just come out and end the season strong, and I think we're doing that right now. We're peaking at the right time. So.
3 games on the road in the tournament, up at Evergreen, a big win over number 4, really improving Evergreen team, and then a huge win at number 2, Southern. Talk a little bit about that win.
We were underdogs the whole time coming in. Some people didn't quite think that we were a place where we should have been, and we used that as motivation. And we didn't want the season to end. We don't want the season to end. And we're having good practices over and over again and just pushing each other, and I think that's helping us get to where we need to be during the games.
Tess, both Oregon Tech and Eastern Oregon are really two of the better defensive teams in the conference. What do you expect from the Mountaineers tonight defensively?
I definitely expect that they've scouted us just like we scouted them, and we obviously have a size disadvantage in the conference, but we're just going to use it to our advantage and try to do them up as hard as we can and pick them up.
Carrie and Tess, obviously tonight your team needs a win to get back to that national tournament. You went last year. Talk a little bit about that experience and how you prepared for that national tournament experience.
Yeah, I think we had a great experience last year, and that was one that all of us want to relive again. And we have to win this game tonight in order to go due to some changes this year. But we know that we're in it to win it right now, and we just have to go out and play OIT ball and stick with the game plan and play together.
Well, I talked to your coach a little bit about the balance in your scoring, and you guys both are right there in terms of really that ball distribution and sharing the offensive load. Talk a little bit about your team this year and the togetherness that you seem to have shown, especially down the stretch, really with a bad patch there of 5 losses.
I think that was really more of a wake-up call. I think that sometimes practice can get monotonous. You go through school, you go to practice, you just want it to be over. But we have a bunch of girls to play for. We have a team that we love, and so I think that you realizing that was important and realizing that we need to play hard for them and for each other has changed our season.
And that 5 stretch, trying to stay motivated through that and kind of with your heads up. I'm sure you guys had a lot of difficult time in practices and really coming through that. So good for you guys to come through that. Playing in LeGrand, very similar to Klamath Falls in terms of great crowds. What do you anticipate tonight? Are you looking forward to a big crowd here tonight?
Yeah, that energy, we want to feed off of that energy, and it's, we're not the home team, so it might be pretty rowdy, but we like that kind of environment, and I think we feed off of that, and we feed off of each other, and it's fun coming in as an underdog.
Well, in addition to playing basketball, obviously you're student athletes, and tell me what your degree area is and when you're going to graduate.
I'm a biology and health science major. I'm in physical therapy, and I plan to graduate in 2017 with a degree in biology sciences.
Yeah, and my major is dental hygiene, and I will graduate at the end of March, so the end of this term.
Do you already have a job lined up?
Nope, I take my boards in a couple of weeks, so hopefully after that all goes well, we'll see about job too.
So if you make it to nationals, then right after that you'll have your state boards to take.
Yes. Yep.
Very busy. You guys have one of the best administrators in terms of a college president of really anybody. Dr. Maples, I don't think he ever misses a contest. What's it like for you guys as student athletes to have Dr. Maples at all of your games? I'm sure he'll be here tonight. Talk a little bit about that.
Him and his wife are just awesome. They always come, and no matter what the event is, if it's basketball, baseball, or anything, we always know that he's there rooting for us. And it's more of a family atmosphere at OIT, and I think that's what attracted a lot of us girls there, and that's what keeps us together, not only as a program, but as a school. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome to have the support of faculty too, because I know that they have to go through a lot of exceptions and rule bending so that we can still have tests and still take our quizzes and still have homework and everything. So it's nice to have them on our side too.
Well, congratulations on an outstanding year. Best of luck tonight. And if you make it to nationals, certainly we'll be cheering on all of our Cascade Conference teams at nationals.
Thank you.
You've been watching the Cascade Conference Women's Basketball Championship pregame show. Tonight, tip-off at Quinn Coliseum, 7 p.m. between the number 1 seeded Eastern Oregon Mountaineers and the number 5 seeded Oregon Tech Lady Owls.